What is up, guys? James here from the Light of Raga YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to be doing the weekly reading for the week of September 27th through October 3rd. October's here, oh my goodness. I hope you guys had a great week last week. I had a pretty good week, can't complain. I want to thank everyone who tuned in to my crystal collection video. In case you didn't see it, I picked some of the top picks from my crystal collection, my personal collection, and I showed them off and talked about them a little bit. I wanted to make a 4-hour video, but I somehow kept it under 20 minutes. It was just a handful of my top picks, and I just told stories about them. And I don't know why I didn't show this one. Look at this. I thought I'd show it here today. This is one of my favorite Herkimer diamonds. And this is just one of those situations. This is one of those crystals where no amount of video can ever do it justice. This thing has so many rainbows that the camera just can't. And in this poor lighting as well. If you take this out in the sunlight, it does other things. Okay, you know what I mean? But in this poor lighting with this poor camera, you just can't really see the rainbows, but oh, they are there. There's so many rainbows. And you know, Herkimer diamond is already one of the highest vibration quartz, probably the highest vibration quartz there is. And so you pack it full of rainbows and you're gonna get a high vibe beauty like this one. I call it my baby fist. It's like a little baby fist. Anyway, that should have gone on the video probably, but I didn't. So here it is today. Anyway, what we're doing today is we're going to take a look at this upcoming week and see how we can make it the best week possible. I'm going to be using, hold on a second, the Sacred Earth Oracle. Now, I'm not too familiar with this deck. I've used it a handful of times, so I don't know. If I have to go into a meditation, I'll just edit the video a little bit. Before we get into that, though, let's just listen to the bowls, get into a reading space. It'll be quick. Alright, I'm ready. Okay, here we go. This first card here represents the energy, the overall energy of the upcoming week. And we've got friction. Give me a moment with this one. Alright, it's pretty self-explanatory for this one. The energy I'm getting from this is kind of like Velcro. I kind of got the image of Velcro, right? When you put Velcro together, it goes together fine. But when it's time to separate the Velcro, it is just it's chaotic. It's violence, right? Right? That's kind of the feeling I got from this week is two things scratching against each other. Two things like... two things that shouldn't be scratching each other, like nails and chalkboard. You know what I mean? That sort of friction is what I'm getting. So, you know, again, I always say this every week. This is a general reading. It's going to manifest in different ways for each person. But I'm getting the feeling that this week is going to bring some challenges. And they're not going to be the types of challenges that are, you know, welcomed. I'm getting the feeling of like, ugh, no, not this. So I don't like to have a grim outlook on my readings because there's always something to be learned and growth to come from all of our challenges. So I'm not saying this week's going to be horrible, like we're all going to suffer. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that this week seems to be bringing for a lot of us some friction in our lives. And yeah, the feeling I'm getting is that there's nothing that you can really do about it this week. There's nothing that you can really... I mean, as far as the friction goes, try to stop it. This week's going to be about dealing with the friction. And, you know, it is what it is. How am I going to deal with it? We can be in denial all we want, but that just prolongs the lesson, right? And we can fight against it, but that just prolongs the lesson. So we need to tell the universe that we're willing to accept whatever it throws at us. And if it's a lot of friction, if it's a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, then we're not going to fight against it. We're going to try to learn from it, right? I think that's kind of pretty self-explanatory, right? If you have to go through a lesson, then let's go through it. Like, why sit through this lesson for weeks and weeks and weeks? You know, it's not comfortable, right? So anyway, that's just the feeling of the overall energy, is that there's going to be a little bit of friction as far as two things kind of butting heads, bumping up against each other, and just not getting along. I wish I could be more specific, but this is a general reading. Okay, so let's move on over to this card, which represents what to hold on to this week, what to focus on, what we should be paying attention to. And we've got brilliance. Give me a moment here. All right, the message I'm getting here from this nice lady is that this week you should really be paying attention to the bright side, the colorful side, the happy side. Basically what she's saying to me is that, yeah, there's going to be friction, right? And the more you focus on this friction, the more you focus on what's going wrong, the more you focus on how things have just all been screwed up, the longer this friction is going to last and the more impactful it's going to be. What this lady is telling me is that if you shift your focus away from the friction and towards the beautiful side of things, right, the positive side, the light side of things, then you're going to cruise right past any friction that you might experience this week. You're just going to, right, it's sort of like, let's say you're in class, right, and you're having a horrible time. You're staring at that clock. The clock, the arms of the clock move very slowly, okay? But let's say you're having fun at the beach. It goes from noon to 6 p.m. like that. So it's all about perspective, right? If you want to get through this week when there's a lot of friction, put your perspective on what is going to uplift you. I think that's what this card is saying. Whatever is going to uplift you this week, focus on it. For a lot of you, that'll be making art. For a lot of you, that'll be listening to music. That'll be, getting exercise. You tell me what you like to do, what uplifts you, and what light side of things you want to focus on this week. All right, so far, very colorful reading. I'll give the deck that. All right, let's move on to this card. And this card represents what to let go of this upcoming week, what to avoid, what to not do. We got productivity. Hold on, I'll read it intuitively. Give me a moment. Okay, the message I'm getting here is don't go for too much this week. We can only do so much at once, right? If we're facing challenges or we're facing friction, right, we're going to have to kind of get through that. And while we're getting through that, it's going to be hard to go through the normal day, our normal routines, our normal schedules. It's going to be hard to stay productive this week. And so I think this card is saying, don't worry so much about it, right? There's next week and the week after that for you to create and work and do all the things that you want to do. But this week is about dealing with this friction. What's going to come up in our lives this week? How are we going to rise above it? All right, working to death or whatever this card might represent for you is not going to help, right? Trying to do too much is kind of the energy of this card. And, we're all guilty of this. I mean, come on. When we're sick, we want to work the hardest. Sometimes when we're sick, we want to lay in bed. But, we're always trying to fight what is. I think this card is saying you're not going to impose your will on the universe this week, right? If you want to be productive, then it's going to be an uphill battle for you this week, I guess is the feeling of it. No, not to say that you should just sit around waiting for, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is let's focus less on our usual routines of work, right, and creating stuff. And let's focus more on uplifting ourselves, especially energetically. So, like I said, let's focus more on art. Let's focus more on entertainment this week. Let's focus more on uplifting our vibration. Let's focus more on our vibration rather than focusing on the outside world and creating and, the rat race, I guess you would call it. And so I think that's a pretty solid message for this week. I don't want to scare anybody. I know that when cards like this come out, it can be kind of daunting. It can be not scary. Scary is not the right word, but it's like, a week where I have to deal with problems, But these aren't necessarily problems, right? That's what this card is saying. Is like, however you approach these problems, air quotes, that's how it's going to be for you. Right? Make sense? I hope so. Yeah, I think we'll call that a reading for today. I think that's pretty good. I like this deck. I mean, it's pretty. It's got color, and it's got people for me to interact with, so that's pretty cool. You might be seeing more of this deck in the future. But that's going to be the reading for today. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to wish you guys the best week possible. Again, I want to thank you for all the love and support that you put in the comment section, that you do with sharing these videos and subscribing, of course, to stay up to date. So I want to thank you all for that, all the YouTube stuff. And basically, have a great week. So leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy taroting. Peace.